everyone, Simon Russell White here from Heavy Mag in Australia. I am here once again with Ez from Spacegoat. How are you, mate?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Oh, I'm fantastic. It's pretty. I'm in my car. Most people who take the time to listen know that I record them in my Kia, and I'm sweating my ass off right now because I can't have the AC on. But this is what we do for the music.
Studio Kia. All the way.
Kia. Oh, well, yes, indeed. How's your day been?
It's been very cruisy. I've been doing some video editing and just all those really boring behind the scenes things that you've got going on when you've got a single about to come out.
Hell yeah. Now on that, earthquakes.
And you don't have a team of people that can do it for you.
Well, that's right. You know, just got to do it all yourself. And everyone, that isn't in a band. This is the kind of stuff that has to be done, isn't it? To make it even anything at all. All the work must be done by yourselves first.
Yeah, 100%. And there's so much extra shit that you don't realise gets done weeks and weeks in advance of just one song coming out. So, yeah, it's fun. It's a learning process. It's good experience, and it's satisfying to do a lot of it myself as well.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, that's when you're able to manage yourselves and actually get some enjoyment or something out of it. I think that says a lot, and that speaks for itself. That's really, really cool. You sort of got me a bit there. That's really, really cool. Self-management's awesome. I have a bit of a team in my band, so and I'm a strengths person, and I just like to throw shit over to other guys. So I've never done that, but maybe one day I will. So anyway, earthquakes. February 8th. New single.
Yeah, finally.
This song, mate, it's fucked me up in a couple of ways, in really, really good ways, because I think 33, your first album, EP, sorry, I should say, there's such a journey in your lyrics, and 33. I'll leave 33 where it is, but it's sort of like journal entries, and then you go to Catharsis, which is only 15 months ago, which is crazy because it seems like yesterday. Your full length that was released on.
Does it? Because to me it feels like a million years ago.
I bet it does.
It feels like it's so long ago.
Yeah, well, It's interesting you say that because. The new single, it has a different evolution to it from the listener, someone who's tracked the band basically from the start, and had the privilege of doing so through this medium and also being friends with you guys. This song's a different level of your journey as a lyricist, I find, and with that, I find there's a lot more power in this track than some of your past ones.
I think I would tend to agree with you, but I would go further and say that not just as a lyricist, but just as a band as a whole, we've just leveled up a little bit, and Catharsis really was a turning point in us getting our sound sort of heading in I don't know how you describe, just like creating the Spacegoat sound. And then this next lot of songs that we've got coming out is just kind of leveled up again, I think. So as a collective, I think we've done that. But certainly I do feel like with this particular song, I've said it to my band members and I've said it to a couple of other people, like this is the sort of song that I would love the shit out of if I hadn't written it. And that's a really weird feeling because as a songwriter, you can be so critical of what you do, and So I've never felt that before where I'm like, fuck, if this came on the radio, I would love it and I would flog this song to death. But I wrote those words and my boys, they wrote that music. Like, that's so fucking cool. And I just, so I'm reveling in that feeling a little bit with this song.
And as you should, like, I've listened to it. I'll say this, and it does. You guys have definitely leveled up. And that's great that you guys see it that way, because we've always got to back ourselves. And fuck anyone who says whatever. Like, we're all like middle age now. Like, if you can't back yourself, then fucking what's the point? So, this song, it's the song of yours that I listen to repeat the most. So that says, from a reviewer side, it's like, fucking hell, like, this is catchy. That, Lennon's kids bass, that it just hooks you up. And then, I got to, I was privileged enough to see the film clip as well, which is something I'll talk about in a minute. But I agree, like, if I didn't know you guys or anything like that, if I wholeheartedly, hand on my chest, I would repeat and I'd listen. If a song come on the radio, I'd be fucking into it. And that says a lot. And it's always great to see a band grow, but this is like, it's been a big growth summer. Like, it's been a yielding season. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, a couple of
things. Like Mario, that we got the magic mushroom.
Yeah, you went and said it.
The Mario mushroom, we powered up.
If you only knew what the words magic mushroom meant to me and what I read these days, holy fuck. That's another conversation. That's for another podcast. Oh, shit. Now, a couple of things in the clip that I'd love to discuss. Obviously, you guys, for anyone who doesn't know, Spacegoat are from Central Victoria in the lovely city of Bendigo. And the film, I'm not going to give it away too much, but there's a couple of things. The triangle.
Yeah. You want it to be some, like, symbol of something, right? It's like, oh shit, I need to make something up really quickly. The triangle. The triangle literally means fucking nothing. It was just something cool that was on the property, and we were like, let's film there.
That's really that is so fucking cool. Because I tried. There you go.
But if anyone wants to, after they see the film clip, if they want to try and come up with some like really avant-garde reason and symbol behind why that's there, then by all means fucking put it in there. But what it was we filmed it on that location in particular is filmed on a property that belongs to friends of ours, and my best friend had actually got married on that hill, and that was the arbor from their wedding. They just never took it down.
Oh, that's so rad.
So we were like, oh, it looks all like, yeah, it looks all worn and stuff now, and it just suited so well. Like, that location in particular is just very picturesque, as you know, and people, once they see the clip, will know. So yeah, we were just like, well, it's just too perfect not to use that spot, so that's why we did.
Jesus, every now and then when I interview someone, I throw a question, and what I get back is 100 times better than what I expected. And it's completely what I didn't expect, which makes it even cooler, because it's symbolic to your band, as in it's your friends. I love triangles, so I had an invested interest, because to quote old Jay, they are my favourite shape. So I was drawn to it, you know. So anyway, that's the triangle. That's fucking hilarious. I love that. Now, there was another part here. I'm going to edit this part, but I'll leave that till later, for later. So I'll edit this little part. There's another question, but it doesn't be needed in the interview, because it's just something I noticed in the film clip that made me laugh. Anyway, so back to the business. Now, I was lucky enough to get your lyrics as well on this song, and something I've tracked over time, having an interest and always fan first in the bands, regardless if I know the people or not. There's a line at the end of the song that really set things off, and there's freedom in my pain. Now, there's a theme to this song. Care to elaborate?
I sure can. And that line in particular also has a bit of a funny way of how it came about, but I'll get to that. So this song the lyrics were born from me hitting a mental health rough patch, which happens from time to time, and I was having this particularly sad day, and it was sort of coming on dusk, and I just felt like really sad and despondent and trapped, and so I was like, I'm going for a fucking walk, and I put my headphones on and I went out, and it was like, the sun was coming down. It was kind of, a chilly night, and at the time I lived near a reservoir, so I walked around the reservoir, and it was really beautiful. And I was listening at the time to Lost Souls, which is an album by one of my favourite bands, Caskets. And the words that were being, like, they do a lot of... I'll start that again. Their themes encapsulate a lot about mental health as well. And so I was just really feeling, like, all of a sudden I just felt hyper aware of my feelings, my surroundings, being alive, the air, the trees, the water. And I was listening to Matt Flood's lyrics, and I was just like, I could only ever hope, and those are some of the lyrics to my song, I could only ever hope that I could write songs that could touch people and, like, give off these feels the way that I'm getting right now from this music. And then it got me thinking about the fact that I'm feeling quite sad now, but holy shit, am I feeling really alive right now? And it got me thinking about how we're so quick as humans to label sadness, depression, etc. as negative emotions. And I've come to sort of think now that there are no negative emotions, there's just destructive behaviors. And so those so-called negative emotions I was feeling at that time actually had a really positive effect on me, because I felt very, very alive. And so we went home from that walk, and I instantly started writing those lyrics, because it just inspired me so much. And yeah, there's freedom in my pain. The line comes from the fact that it's like, that whole experience felt very freeing to me, that that all hope is not lost, and being sad actually doesn't have to always be a bad thing. You can harness that sadness into goodness. And so I sort of thought, if I can write a song that someone listens to and it gives them a bit of hope, and lifts them up in that way, then hell yeah, I'm going to try and write that song. So, and I can't wait when it's released to try and reach out to Matt Flood from Caskets and tell him this story somehow as well, because, he inspired me so much. But in terms of the way that the line is the melody of that particular line is really funny, because Leon and I often, our guitarist Leon, he and I often riff ideas on how to phrase vocal melodies and stuff. And when he has an idea in his head, he'll just make random noises or sing random words. Maybe you should do it like this. And he used the word freedom, but I can't remember what he trailed it off with. And I was like, I can actually use that word. That would actually fit right there. Nice. So he came up with the word freedom, and then I tacked on in my pain after it. So it was a joint effort on that one.
That's right.
It just worked so well with the rest of the song.
That's really, really cool. And and I'll be serious for a moment, and then I'll attempt at being funny. We talked earlier about the band growing and there's the melody there. That's what I think's stronger. It's like you guys are a tighter tapestry now. That's one way to put it, because it's just accentuating better now. It's not that it's nothing on the work earlier. It's just, it's better. It's the only way to put it. It just works better. I think we'll get to the producer in a moment, but there's a more warm feeling to this track. And that warm is like, it's just a bit fucking tighter together. Not, on a musicality level, you guys are knocking it out of the park every time, but it's just woven really well. Yes.
I appreciate that, and that makes me quite excited for the next couple of songs to come out too, because getting feedback like that for Earthquakes, which we put our best foot forward. We've put we feel like all the songs we've got coming out this year are strong, but there's just something really special about that song, and so I feel excited to be able to lead with that song, and I hope that everyone has the enthusiasm and feels what you're feeling listening to it. Yeah,
well, there's just certain, and I hope so too, because there's just certain notes. So I don't know what it is, but just every now and then you hear a track, and I go from like Baker Boy's first track, Cloud 9. I listen to that song 1,000 times because it's just got a note in it. And there's like song from a band called Mercenary. I like 2 of their songs. That is about it, because the vocal melody and I've gone from like an indigenous Aussie hip hop artist who everyone now knows very well to a Swedish band that kind of dropped off because they just remind me, earworm, and then it starts, and that's where this track went for me, and that's why I find it more intense of an experience to listen to. So I hope people feel the same, because I can't force that, but I really want to.
Me too.
I really want to force it because it's a fucking good song. Anyway.
Thank you.
No, pleasure.
Well, fingers crossed.
Yes.
We're just talking it up, and then people will listen to it and go, "What is this bullshit that they're talking about?"
Like they're just high on mushrooms. A big shout out to Frankenbach, because your story about yourself and Leon reminded me of when Azabok told me about when they wrote the song Cocaine. And and their original singer, Adam Glenn, shout outs to him. Him and the boys were jamming. I got told this in Bendigo at the after the pool show in like 2001, and Adam they were coming up with a melody, and he was saying cocaine, like some sort of weird way of saying the word came, and Az is like, that kind of sounds like cocaine, and the song has nothing to do with cocaine, it just fitted, and now I've got that out of my system and I feel way better. So
you just took us down the path of old school.
Yeah, exactly. And it was great. Those guys are incredible. Oh, it was such an underrated heavy metal band. But anyway, that's for my other podcast. Yeah. I'm up to 2 podcasts now. All right. So, Spacegoat, Workhorses. How many film clips have you guys got out now?
Oh, good question.
Like 5?
I think, 4 or 5 official clips, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. I just put Erin on the spot, everyone. Sorry about that. So
I think two from the first record, 2 from the second record, and this one that's coming out. So yeah.
Well, that's fantastic, and now you have some shows booked. My voice just broke. I'm nearly 40 and I'm turning into a man. Shows booked. Fucking hell. I'll start again. I'm not even going to edit this part because fuck it. I love humility. You guys have got some shows booked? Go.
We have a show booked. Actually, this year's been really weird with with booking shows. So we're just kind of, and I guess our focus has been more on getting the song out and working with, our PR guy and that sort of thing. So we've actually just got the one at the moment, which is in Melbourne on the 9th of Feb, so the day after the song comes out, which is going to be a massive show. It's at Stay Gold. We're just kind of riding the coattails of Victoria Kay because she's starting her Aussie tour for her new album, and we got invited to support for that. So we're like, fuck it, we're going to ride your coattails and we're going to do our single launch on the same night. So,
nice.
But and there is a hometown show coming up, but that's not until sort of Easter weekend. So hopefully we'll be just once the song's out, we'll start putting our feelers out for some gigs in and around Melbourne.
Oh yeah, nice. And any plans? All the usual questions. So I'll just backtrack a little. So you've got singles coming out. So is there any time frame yet for a new release? Is there a ballpark time, or are you just going to see how it goes, or just do singles?
We are literally just going to do singles this year, based on experimental purposes, really. We've done the 2 EPs, and we found that, we had pretty good success with the first one based on not having any idea of what we were doing, and we did no promo, we did no PR, anything like that. And so all things considered, we did pretty well with that. Catharsis was definitely an improvement and a level up in terms of getting noticed. But one thing we found with the release of the EP was the 2 singles that we released from Catharsis did quite well in terms of streams and shares and views and all the boring statistical stuff. And then the remainder of the EP didn't get the attention that we felt it deserved. So, and you can see when you log on to your little Spotify for Artists profile, you can see the first song, which is Purge, that's got quite a few hits. And then the 2 singles, quite a few hits. And then as the songs go down, the poor little last song on that album, which is just a song that I poured my heart and soul into, and we put it last, you'd know yourself being in a band, your track ordering is really kind of well thought out, and you're like, that song goes really well after that song, and that song goes really well before that song, and that's a banger of a closer, and so you put thought into that, but because people have fucking attention span of a newt these days, they drop off, and I don't think it's anything to do with whether the songs are good or bad. I think it is just literally people's attention spans, they switch off. So experimentally, we're just like, let's just see what happens if we only release singles and see if they get more traction, and we will use people's short attention spans to our advantage.
Absolutely.
And it does seem to be the way that a lot of bands are going these days as well. So
yeah,
we'll just play the game like everyone else does.
Hell yeah, and yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about, and it's crazy. It doesn't matter the height of the band; it's the same for everyone. This social push, it's so fucking crazy how we've got the world at our fingertips now, and this is happening, where you've got all this wealth of audio and visual, and now we're just fucking it all up by going, oh yeah, play, stop, I've had enough of that. It's never been easier. It used to be the shit we would have, and we're a similar age, the shit we would have to do to get an entire album. If we couldn't afford it, there are other means. Lars Ulrich, I hope you're not listening. Imagine if Lars actually heard that. Wouldn't that be wild? Torrents, etc. Any way to get music. Now we have them. We have everything. We can just go, oh yeah, Spacegoat, Catharsis, last song. Oh, that's got a cool title. Oh, wow. Jeez. No, it's this fucking world of, pyramid on a graph, and that's it, and it's fucked. So, yeah, that's my preach. But, it astounds me. And also, and I will attest to it. I won't attest to it or accept it because I listen to everything from start to finish. If I'm not into a band that much, I'll give it a bit of a crack. But if I like a few songs, I fucking go all the way. And that's probably because I'm nearly 40. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it is a generational thing. I think I'm like in between a little bit because I do get where that, like, you've got so much choice that you don't even know where to start. And so you just like go with the simplest option. Whereas back when you were like, when you and I were younger and we were living in the world of you've only got a CD wallet full of CDs and you've got to try and change them while you're driving and all the rest of it. It's like you've got that album. It's too much of a pain in the ass to switch it over halfway through. So you listen to the album from start to finish, and you get an opportunity to you got an opportunity to really ingest it. And what might not have caught your attention on the first listen, maybe the second or third, you finally, click into something that was there. Whereas, again, I go back to the short attention spans. People might just be like, oh, this intro is too long, skip, and they've missed a hugely amazing song, like, oh, I can't be bothered with the intro. Because you can skip it, because you don't have to sit there and wait till you pull over to change your CD. Yeah, so, I don't know. Anyway, it's the times we're living in. Like I said, just got to play the game.
Totally. And back to the point is, I think that's a great game to play. And just trickle it out and just live with what it is. And, maybe the old saying is less is more. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh,
something like that.
Something like that, yeah, anyway. So, great chatting with you, mate. It always is a pleasure. I love the fact that you guys just constantly pump out material. It's just, oh, shit. One second. Content, and the content is getting better. And as I always like to say, I always like to earmark this. It's not a slight on anything that's been done. It's becoming more refined. The recipe is getting sweeter, and that's what I think about that. So thank you.
And I think big shout out as well to our producer, Chris, Malco, that we worked with, the leveling up that I spoke about earlier. He was he just understood. I don't know, we just clicked with him. We were on a vibe from the start. He knew how to get the best out of us. He knew what the little subtle changes the songs needed. We were in and out of his studio so quick because it was such an easy process. And yeah, I think he's just woven some magic in that. We can't take all the credit for it ourselves. Yeah. He was just a champ, and we can't fucking wait to get back in his studio again and do some more.
Nice. Now, it just cut out when you said his name, and I want to make sure we get that. What was his name again?
Chris the Malco of Monolith Studios.
Nice, everyone. There you go. That's sweet, beautiful sound. That's where it's being produced. That's fucking cool. Nice one. All right.
And you should... While we're shouting out, you should definitely check out his band Orpheus Amiga too, because they're fucking rad.
Oh my god, yes! Holy shit, that's for another podcast for sure.
That's the fourth podcast.
Yeah. Oh my god, he's an idiot. All right.